Hello to all the comic fans, Marvel geeks, and all the nerds in between. Welcome to another episode of the new and improved Vigilante Vibes, where I give you all the Marvel discussions, theories, and news without the toxicity that's become such a big part of the fandom. I'm your host, Megan Nicole, and today I have a very special guest. He's someone who's such a positive presence in the fandoms. You've probably seen him everywhere, uplifting other creators while creating his own amazing content. Please welcome Joe from Muscles and the Multiverse.
What's going on, Meg? Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited for you to be here. I've been such a fan of yours, especially since the days of X-Men 97 when we would all have our group discussions about it on Wednesdays.
That was like such a off-the-cuff thing. And like, I feel like that was the first time. Those were like the first times I went live on YouTube on my channel. And I think the first one I did was just like random, like vertical live. And then after episode 5 happened, I was like, I think people need to gather and talk about this, because I don't know who isn't traumatized from that episode.
I'm still kind of traumatized from that episode. Every once in a while when I'm rewatching X-Men 97, sometimes I'll just skip over that if I'm like, I'm not there today. I have enough going on. So you just kind of move past it.
Yeah, totally. I haven't gone back for the rewatch. I did start it, and then I don't know what happened. Something happened, and
life.
It just hasn't happened.
Yeah, sometimes I'll just have it on just for background or something, because it's like it's the first like incredible, amazing X-Men content we've gotten in so long. It's been so long and so lonely on these streets.
No, it has been so good. And then I barely remember X-Men from, when we were kids, essentially. And then I haven't really delved further into comics really until like 2 years ago. And so having that was just it was an amazing show, amazing television show, regardless of like the content style and like being part of Marvel. It was just a really good television show.
Oh, I agree completely. And with that show, you can see how much passion the voice actors had for their roles, because I've spoken to a few of them, and every single one is just so grateful, so humble. I think that has to be a stipulation when they hire these voice actors. They're like, they have to be the best person in the world, because that's what happened.
Yeah, like your episode with Guy and I forget his name. See, I told you about this before.
Yeah.
The guy who
Isaac.
voiced Bishop. Yeah. His episode was so good. And just like the fact of like how much, like I didn't know he did the voice for Black Panther like in the theme parks, and the fact that like the amount of work that he did to work with like the same dialect coach as I was going to say T'Challa, Chadwick Boseman did for Black Panther. I just thought that was awesome.
Yeah, you really don't know all the stuff these voice actors do until you go through their entire rap sheet. It is crazy, because you're just trying to wrap your head around it. Like when I got to talk to Mick Wingert, I was like, yeah, he's Iron Man in some of the animated things. And then I went down, I'm like, okay, this guy's been Iron Man like 10 times. It gets to the point you're like, I don't even know if he knows he's been Iron Man this many times. And it's wild.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I'm sure it's obviously a lot easier of a turnaround probably for them to just like book gigs and record the stuff. Not saying that it's easy by any stretch of the imagination, but obviously you don't have to act or be in front of a screen or anything like that and do reshoots and whatnot. But it is crazy the amount of stuff that they do, even just like watching some of like the assembled for X-Men 97, but like I've also watched essentially like the documentary of Frozen 2 essentially, and like the amount of takes that they do to like bring stuff in, and when they rewrite stuff and then they bring them in, but then they have them do like 20 or 25 different takes of just one line because they don't know which one they want to use. And it's crazy the amount of work that goes into it.
Yeah, when I talked to Guy, I don't remember if it was on the episode, because he spoke to us for like another hour after we finished recording. And the woman that plays Nina DaCosta, Christine Webby, they both mentioned that they find it not more difficult, but more challenging in other ways when it's just voice acting. Because with X-Men 97, they had no idea what was happening in the scene. They had no idea who they were talking to. They had no idea whatsoever. So they just were like, I guess we just got to pick a tone for this and hope it lands. And I was like, man, that kind of gives me anxiety. Like, I'm a little anxious thinking about that.
Yeah, I think that it's just weird to even think that they don't know what they were doing in terms of the script and whatnot. And I feel like, I don't know if that's standard practice or not, but yeah, I can't imagine that that's easy to do, especially when you don't know. And it's probably much easier when you are acting and you can feed off that energy and see that person in front of you, right? Versus just talking into a microphone.
Yeah, I think Guy, the voice of Sunspot, and if I didn't say that already, sorry guys, him and the voice of Jubilee, Holly, I believe they said they only worked together in the room one time. And
Yeah.
it was for the smallest amount of time. And it's like, there's no way that's normal practice. That has to be Marvel afraid something's going to get leaked.
Quite possibly, right? Because like even just like again thinking back to that watching that Frozen 2 documentary, because they're not always there and sometimes they're by themselves, but like clearly the directors and the writers are in the room and they're saying, oh, this is who you're talking to, this is like what the kind of like feeling is. And the fact that like most of them even said like they didn't even record in the same room together or like even meet each other until like the red carpet.
Yeah.
It's just wild.
Yeah, I also think the pandemic had a lot to do with it too.
Sure.
Because, I mean, they had to do it separately, but like, throw them a bone, Marvel. My goodness, you and your secrets.
Yeah, they're, can't let the leakers get anything.
I'm so sick of those damn leakers. I'm so sick of them. They annoy me every single day. And I love spoilers with such a fiery passion, but the leakers, I think, do such a disservice to the fandom. They spread that toxicity.
Oh, it's so quick. It just, I mean, it literally spreads like wildfire. It's crazy.
Absolutely. And you have ones like on Facebook, a big one is called Marvel Updates. I hate these people.
Oh, gosh.
I hate these people. I'm blocked from them, first of all. That's not why I hate them. I'm actually quite pleased I'm blocked, so I don't see their stuff. But they make up rumors. And I've caught them doing it because they will sometimes use the same rumor for a different movie. Like with the Scarlet Witch movie. Same rumor. It's even the same typo. And it drives
It's just
me
like,
crazy.
I haven't even looked. I try not to do it because I don't want to be spoiled for the most part. And the most recent one that I've seen, though, and I haven't looked any further into it, and I'm assuming it is just a made-up rumor, is like the Young Avengers is being called the Champions now, potentially, if there's even going to be a Young Avengers project. Everything seems like it's building to that, but they're like, oh, it's going to be called the Champions, and it's going to be a TV show. And I'm just like, no one said anything about this.
Like that rumor, I actually saw that the other day, and I was like, okay, that one I'm down for, because you can't have Young Avengers if they're just average aged Avengers. Like, you can put makeup on them all you want. You can make Kamala's voice get a little more squeaky. They're gonna be our age. They're gonna be the same age as the Avengers were when they started. So I like, if that's true, they're naming them Champions, and I do think it should be a TV show. There's not enough to build on right now to make a movie, because it's like, yeah, you have Wiccan and Agatha just kind of fucking off somewhere. Who knows? And then you have Kamala and Kate, who we saw meet for 10 seconds on screen. And then what? It's going to be a whole movie about them just being friends, becoming friends.
Yeah, like out of nowhere. Yeah, I think, and you have America Chavez, who we haven't seen for a while. Cassie.
Oh yeah.
And that's really well. And they're lumping Ironheart in there too. Mm-hmm. And I mean, well, we're going to see her soon, and obviously I think we're talking about that. And but like my first thought was like, oh, we'll have what was it? Kamala and Kate.
Yeah.
They're going to like be somewhere. They're going to end up meeting, like in Vision Quest, they end up meeting Vision somehow. Mm-hmm. I don't know why or what.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, he's looking for Tommy and Billy, but he doesn't know Billy exists yet. and they're like, oh, we'll help because, whatever. Again, young Avengers, essentially. And then they end up meeting Billy and Agatha, and obviously there's going to be a conflict between Agatha and Vision. And then they're like, oh, we're looking for Tommy. Let's all do it together. And now somehow Agatha's getting lumped into all of this, but which I'm not against. I'm just I think would be great.
I am not against it either. I really do think Kamala and Agatha are really going to hate each other, and I'd really like to see that because Kamala doesn't hate anyone, but Agatha, I think she'll break her.
I can see that. Yeah. Kamala, you're right. Kamala doesn't hate anyone. She's the nicest soul that there could be. She sees the goodness in everyone, but I feel like you're right. Like Agatha would definitely break her.
I think so too. It's funny to me how well Kamala is played out on screen because with the newer comics, like the newer Miss Marvel comics and NYX, all I see is Iman Vellani.
Oh yeah.
And it's just a match made in heaven, and I'm so excited we get to see more of her because she's the one like I'm always rooting for. You could tell me anything negative about her, I won't believe you. I don't care. I could see her kick a puppy.
There's no way.
I will just keep going for her. She's just living such the dream.
I mean, the part is literally like written for her. Yeah. She's literally Kamala Khan, and yeah, it's just perfect.
It is, and she's gone so far as to write Kamala's comics. Like that's never been done. That's something that's like very, very cutting edge. But I hope that doesn't become a thing with these actors because it's like, nah, you're just trying to force it. Yeah. But with her, I felt like that was such a natural thing to do.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of them don't. Either they know a little bit about comics, they are a fan, or they're almost like Hugh Jackman, who's like, I never even heard of Wolverine or the X-Men before I took this role. Like, I had no idea what was happening.
That guy didn't know that Wolverine was a real animal, so bless his heart. But I do appreciate the actors who go out of the way to like learn about their character, like John Bernthal, Doctor Strange, even Psylocke, who wasn't allowed to read the comics, snuck him in on set of X-Men. Yeah. And I love that extra effort. I really, really do, because the comics are not easy to get into.
No. And I mean, I even think Marvel sent Joe Locke like comics to read about Wiccan. I mean, I think like that's like they should be doing that. Like, why don't help your actors get more into character and understand who they're supposed to be?
Yeah, you have a cheat sheet. You have a million of them everywhere. So why wouldn't they? See, like that gives me hope, because before you had people making Doctor Strange movies involving Wanda who never watched WandaVision. It seems like Marvel is changing for the better, and I hope they continue to, because we were fighting for them for a long time and we're really tired.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy when you have that like disconnect in continuity in terms of you have this writer being like Jack Schaefer who wrote WandaVision, and now you're going to continue Wanda's story in the Doctor Strange movie, but that writer wasn't a part of WandaVision at all. And now hopefully you're hoping that they watched it and or maybe even got in contact with the writers to like continue the story. But I feel like a lot of times, I hate to say this, but I feel like, you know, probably a lot of writers are potentially very full of themselves. And I feel like you kind of have to be to write all these characters, but they don't necessarily, they're like, this is my project. I don't want to collaborate with someone else. And I'm not saying that it's probably not true for everyone, but a lot of them are probably like, well, this is my project, so I'm going to make it how I want it to be.
Doesn't that kind of seem like the vibe the director of Joker 2 had when he didn't want anything to do with DC, wouldn't talk to James Gunn personally, just refused to, he wouldn't do reshoots, he wouldn't do test screenings. He didn't do so many things. And so I do think there is a lot of ego that goes into it, because you do have to have that confidence to say, like, sure, I can make a good story. But I think that gets lost in everyone's going to love this story, not this is going to be a good story. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think to a certain degree, they probably need to have some sort of ego to be able to create something of a project so big, right? To to hopefully appeal to the masses. And a lot of times they think their vision is the right one, and sometimes it's not.
They just can't all be Jack Schaefer's. She was supposed to work on Vision Quest, and like I'm so bummed she's not. But she still should. She isn't now because originally Agatha and Vision Quest was going to be being made at the same time, but she switched. Marvel switched everything, so she's like, can't do both. But what's stopping you, Jack? What's stopping you now?
I know, right? Yeah. Just like do something. Be a
Yeah, right?
consultant.
just take a phone call or two. You know, like
That's all we're asking.
no, we're not asking much. I mean, you don't get to make that kind of impression on us this far into our lives and just leave and not keep that going.
No, not at all. I mean, that was so well written, and to hopefully it would be nice to have that continue on into however or whatever Vision Quest is going to be about.
What do you think Vision Quest is going to be about? Because I know you've been reading a lot of the comics that have to do with Vision and his family and all that. What is your dream idea for it?
I don't know if I have a dream idea. I honestly haven't thought that much about it. I've only been reading recently. I just finished up. Well, I read the original Young Avengers run and then went right into Children's Crusade. And in there, Vision is killed essentially initially. Well, that's kind of alluded to, and then he essentially gets put back together after a younger Kang the Conqueror, Iron Lad, comes to town, and apparently Vision had set up a whole failsafe protocol essentially to, if the Avengers, if something happened to them, that there could be other people who would become the Avengers, hence the Young Avengers, and all of them happen to have some sort of connection to current Avengers, hence Wiccan and Tommy, who else? Cassie, and then Hulkling gets looped in there, and then it just becomes this whole thing. Like Kate walks in, and basically it's Iron Lad. Something happens to Vision, and then Iron Lad, Kang the Conqueror's like personality and all of his knowledge goes into the new Vision, and now he's still Vision but not Vision. It's very complicated, and it's comic book stuff, right? Yeah. I initially thought, I had no idea what it was going to be about. Obviously it was going to be about like putting Vision back together, and then I guess I didn't really know what, but the way that after Agatha ended, I figured why not have Vision is the one who's looking for Tommy, and he ends up teaming up basically with what I said earlier. Somehow gets looped in with Kamala, and probably Kate would make the most sense since they've obviously met each other. And then now, they somehow come cross paths, and they're like, oh, we're forming this team and we're looking for, whomever. We know that you can help us. I mean, Kamala clearly has Nick Fury's files, so she can do whatever she wants, I guess.
True.
And, at some point in there, they're going to cross paths with Agatha and Billy. And then they both all continue to find Tommy. And then eventually they go to find or start to look out for Wanda. Hence, again, trying to continue to tie into Children's Crusade some sort of way. And it's pretty much been alluded to that she's around for the most part. And again, you can kind of tie in Doctor Doom now that we know he's coming into that whole story some way, somehow. To me, that makes the most sense, but I'm not a writer, nor do I get paid to write things like that.
Well, I think your ideas for that, I think those are the most natural way to go. So it would make the most sense. I'm interested, what Vision Quest is going to be about. There's all these rumors that the Scarlet Witch is going to be there. Like every Marvel project, Scarlet Witch is going to be there. She's going to be in everything. She's going to be in Ironheart. We all go through this rumor mill every time. But I think if it does show Vision's family from the comics, like Vin and Virginia and all that, what if they used Elizabeth Olsen as the model for his wife? I kind of thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
I think
I haven't delved that much into Vision's like actual family and stuff like that. So
It's,
I have no idea what that could even be expected from that.
it just, it's not a big part of many things I've read. They're there, and then they're not. Then someone
Yeah.
dies, no spoilers, and then it's like, well, why'd you even make me read this? I said to myself. So it's really not that big of a thing, but I think Vision Quest will be used to move on to Champions, not Young Avengers, allegedly. But I think that would be the best way to go, because if you're not having Scarlet Witch and Vision get back together, I don't care. I don't care about his family. His little, they're just keeping her seat warm family.
Yeah, no, yeah, it would just seem like kind of a waste, but
And Marvel never does that.
no.
So we've already discussed quite a few things, and I liked how natural that conversation went. We haven't even started. So today we're going to discuss the Marvel Slate. We're going to get Joe's opinion on all the upcoming projects, and we're going to get to know Joe even more than we already have. Hope you're ready for that.
I'm ready. I'm ready to do it.
So, starting December 22nd, every single day for 8 days, I think, What If Season 3. Are you a big What If guy?
I'm not, to be honest. I don't mind it. I like the show. I've watched both seasons.
Yeah.
It's not something that I'm like super excited to watch. I'll watch it. I don't
Yeah.
hate it. It's not something that I'm like, oh, I can't wait to watch and see what happens. Because at first it was all kind of like, each episode was kind of like anthology style, especially from like season 1. And then season 2 was like, oh, these episodes don't connect. They're just a separate thing from each other. And then all of a sudden it was like, okay, now the whole story's tying together. And then obviously it's just going to continue moving forward into season 3. And obviously this is the last one.
I feel the exact same way. I'm just kind of like, okay, I will watch
Yeah.
it. I didn't like the What If comics. What If Season 1 took me a long time to get into. Season 2, I was like, oh, okay. But then they hit me with this trailer, and you see freaking Storm wielding
Right.
Mjolnir, and it's like, well, wait a minute. You caught my attention. It only took 3 seasons.
Yeah. No, I think this will be a good. I'm anticipating it to be good, especially now that they're trying to like tie everything together. But I just felt like there would be some episodes where I was like, oh, that was a good one. This one, is okay. And then this one's good. Again, it's not something that like I'm like, oh, this is a must like rewatch show just because I have time to kill and it's something that I want to rewatch. I'd rather rewatch something else.
True. Like X-Men 97. You could get back into that.
Yeah, I would rather anytime I would rather watch X-Men 97 versus What If. And I'm not saying What If is bad or I hate it. It's I don't know. I'm just not that into it.
I think because it really doesn't connect to the broader story. And I have an issue getting into things I know won't go anywhere. And that's always been my thing. Like, I'm not big on it's canon, it's not canon, because it's like, it's all comics. It's weird. It's supposed to be weird. It's cool. Just accept it.
Yep.
But with this, it's like, but those have nothing to do with the other stories we've been watching for over 10 years. And it's rough.
It is, and it's kind of. I mean, it's very akin to like the What If comics, right? It's like they replace a character with someone else or something in very like canon, like Uncle Ben not dying, right? Like writing that storyline, see what happens then, right? It's just like one of those things where it's like, oh, this is cool to think about, I guess, and that's it.
That's true. It's very strange to me that like these stories aren't supposed to go anywhere, but they're
Right.
all tied together in the What If universe. I'm like, and then the Watcher is there, who is in X-Men 97 as an Easter egg, and it's like, what am I supposed to believe right now? Because I don't know.
Yeah, there's I think it was I didn't mind that it was like standalone episodes and none of them really connected for the most part, and then all of a sudden again like halfway through last season you were like, oh, they're tying things together now. I guess I need to pay attention a little bit better.
Yeah, and then there was that weird thing about season 1 where they took out an episode and then put it in season 2. I
That's
never
right.
understood that situation, but I was like, I mean, at that point, just like give up connecting, just make it weird and random.
Yeah.
Make us like guess, like, are they connected? Because I love when they're left
Yeah.
open ended.
Yeah, I'd rather have it be like that because now that it is connected, I almost want to be like, I like this less,
Yeah, and
just like
can
out of
we-
spite.
I know, I feel that so much. Also, can we like dial it down with Captain Carter? Great character. She's super. But like I'm so sick of her and What If. I feel like What If shouldn't have a main character. But
Right.
if it did, it would be Captain Carter.
Yeah, I'm interested. Maybe interested is not the right word. More curious as to why they chose her to be like the main person that it revolves around. Again, nothing against her or anything, but it's just like, why? Again, I just think it would just be better if it wasn't connected. Honestly, in my opinion, for just like what it is, right? Like, I don't know. It's again, they're supposed to be kind of like standalone things, from my understanding, and then they're like, oh, let's connect it.
That's what I thought. And with Captain Carter, I feel like a Marvel exec somewhere, his favorite character is Captain Carter. So they're like, put her in wherever you can't. Give her a TV series. Put her in What If. Throw her into Multiverse of Madness. And it's like, I know you think you're not doing much with the character because these are random things, but I've had enough. So much enough. Give me someone else. I don't care.
Yeah, I just think they just need to not have someone be the lead per se. It's just like, I don't know, an amalgamation of things just happening.
Yeah, I think the same. But moving on, January 29th, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. And I have to be honest with you, I forget daily that this is happening.
I think a lot of people have, honestly, because one, it's really not been mentioned. I kind of like, I made a video about this of like everything we know up to this point, essentially pretty recently.
Short
And
video.
really, we don't know much, to be honest, because like no one's talked about it. Literally, no one has talked about it. It looks interesting. I mean, it has a pretty cool like style. Again, not totally like X-Men '97 ish, but kind of like classic comic booky looking kind of style animation, and that's really all we know. It's like we see Peter Parker, who's in high school. We clearly know that he's going to get bit by a spider. I think that there's some thoughts that it's like not the typical spider because Doctor Strange is involved, and the spider came from wherever Doctor Strange was. And we also see him with like a symbiote looking monster. So like, is Peter going to end up getting like, he's going to get bit, but is he going to have like symbiote stuff happening? Is he going to have like magical kind of powers in addition to his regular stuff? I don't know. We literally don't know anything else about it.
We don't. And it's like, so it's What If. Right? Like
Almost. It seems like that. It seems like they're approaching it that way, which is kind of sad given the fact that it's like a huge like mainstay character for Marvel in general.
Yeah, and it's very strange because it's like, I don't know the goal of it. I'm down. Give me whatever Spider-Man you can. But I don't understand the goal. It feels like a What If scenario that's not fully there yet. They're just kind of like, oh, if it sucks, just say it's What If. It's cool. But then you also have Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio voicing their characters, Kingpin and Daredevil, in the show. And it's like, what is going on?
Yeah. Yeah. Even Benedict Cumberbatch is doing Doctor Strange.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep. So, yeah, I mean, you're at least getting that kind of continuity in terms of the voices, which I think is nice to have versus like someone different. Although, again, if it doesn't really connect to anything or doesn't really play in, it doesn't really matter, honestly. But yeah, I just feel like it's just like one of those things that like Marvel greenlit, and then they're like, we've got bigger fish to fry. You're there. You're like the redheaded stepchild, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it might slap when it comes out. I'm not saying it won't. I'm just saying I
Yeah.
forgot. But I also think Marvel forgot. So if they did, you're in a safe space, Marvel. It's cool. I think at one point, I think there's been a few times this year Kevin Feige has said, "Oh shoot, that's right," and then everyone in the room was like, "Whew, not just me."
Yeah, no, I mean, they literally, so I was going to make a video and stuff just happened, the video that I made. And then, I like wrote a script out and everything. And then that whole sizzle reel for next year came out. And I was like, ah, great. Now we know more stuff about Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Now I got to change my script. Luckily it didn't change too much, but like the major thing that changed was it was supposed to be coming out like November 2nd, like literally after Agatha.
Yeah.
And then I was like, one, we haven't heard anything. I was like, there's no way it's coming out now because they haven't promoted it at all, unless they're just like dropping it like they did with What If, which I felt like was like, oh, here's 8 episodes, enjoy. They're coming out daily. And I was like, they're going to end up doing the same thing. Like, haven't heard anything. They're just going to drop the needle on it. But that doesn't really seem like Marvel for the most part. Like, at least promote it for like 5 days.
Yeah, I realize with Marvel's animation, they don't promote unless it's less than a month away, because X-Men 97,
Yeah.
we got nothing. Anything we got was from the voice actors, and I don't think they were even allowed to say anything, but Lenore is Lenore, and she will do that. She is that bitch. But
Yep.
we got trailer less than a month before, we got posters, and then they're
Yeah.
like, and here's the show. And it's like, okay, but with the movies, you take it such a different route. And it makes me think, like, are you just trying to see if the show can stand on its own without the hype behind it, or without the rumors or any kind of leaks happening? And it's proven to be very successful.
It has. I think that given the fact that like X-Men 97 has done really well, I don't know. I feel like X-Men 97 was able to get into a broader audience after so many people were talking about it. Even like Agatha, like they didn't really, even though that's not animation, but like I don't think they anticipated it doing so well, and then people loved it. And then that crept into a broader audience. Like, I don't feel like What If has crept into a more broad audience. It's definitely more of like true Marvel fans for the most part. Because everyone would be like, what is happening right now? This makes zero sense to me. And I feel like that's what's going to end up happening with Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Because, again, they just don't do enough to promote it. And it'll get the hardcore fans. And it might leak out a little bit into some people because they know who Spider-Man is. But they're also going to be like, but what is this?
Yeah, I think it's not going to be much for the casual watcher, which is fine. It's fair.
Yeah.
A lot of casual watchers don't watch anything that comes on Disney Plus, so
Yeah.
what can you do? But next on our list, February 14th, Captain America: Brave New World. I'm excited for it. I think I have conflicting feelings, but I'm excited for it.
Can I ask what you're conflicted about?
I'm nervous they're going to make it more of a Hulk movie than a Captain America movie and take that away from Anthony Mackie. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, you did say that. I hope that they don't do that. I haven't even given that a thought until you said it. I listened to your your phase 1 rankings yesterday.
Thanks.
So you're welcome. And you had said that in that episode. And I didn't even think of that as a thing. I feel like I'm excited for this. I love Sam Wilson as Captain America. I love that people hate that he's Captain America. I'm excited to see Red Hulk. I think Harrison Ford is just like in his like, I'm an old man. This is literally just me and how I am. I feel like every character he plays now is he's just playing himself.
True.
But I'm interested to see like where it goes. It has those like Winter Soldier vibes ish to it, right? From what we can tell, like very spy espionage-esque. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I just know that there's been a lot of like stuff behind the scenes and all this other things, you know, everything that goes through a Marvel movie, what it seems like nowadays.
Oh no!
You know, I'm excited for it. I just think I'm also still at the point now where I'm like, I just almost don't even know what to expect, which I don't think is a bad thing. Like, I'd rather be surprised than kind of have an idea totally of what's going on. But I just think I'm excited for it. But yeah, now I'm curious to see how it all goes, because I feel like it's just been so long. It's been so long since we've seen those characters like Thaddeus Ross. Who knows? I don't know if Betty Ross is going to be in it at all. Like Liv Tyler, I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it. But
Yes, she's confirmed.
is she? Okay.
Yeah.
And then obviously we haven't seen Sam since Falcon and the Winter Soldier, right?
Yes.
So, and that just feels like a lifetime away at this point. So I'm like,
It is.
what's going to be happening?
And we're also having the leader.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep, we
And
haven't
that's
seen
not
him either.
even counting the people that we don't know about. I'm
Right.
worried
Well,
that.
we're supposed to have like Sidewinder from,
Oh, yeah. True.
and then Sabra.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of extra new things happening. And I think part of my like worry with all of this is like a lot of this was written, I don't know, probably like 2 years ago at this point, after they've already like course corrected a lot of things since basically Kang and that whole fallout. And it's just like, hopefully they've been able to scrap something together.
Yeah, I hope they scrapped a lot of things, because it's like you said, it was a lifetime away when they wrote the script, and they've added so much since then. And if they kept what they had and they keep adding, it's like we're still getting a brand new character as well. So it's like, what are we doing? But I
Yeah.
also am afraid that, Marvel cannot make a Hulk movie because of the rights. Making a She-Hulk show was kind of their workaround to get more Hulk content. And I hope that's not what they're doing here, because it kind of feels like it. But also, there's the rumor, just rumor, not confirmed, people, that the third test screenings went really negatively. That came from Daniel Richmond, something, from comicbookmovie.com, which they live their life using rage bait, so don't look too hard into it, but you should know where the rumor came from. So there's that happening too. It's like you said, the Marvel thing is happening. The wheels are spinning now. It's a whole thing every time.
Yeah. I think I also agreed with you like yesterday when I listened to it, your latest, your phase one rankings, when you were like, I'm not a big Hulk fan. And I felt the same exact way. Like, I don't hate him. I'm just like, cool. I don't go out of my way to seek out more Hulk content. I like haven't really read Hulk comics, even like the some where he's a character in it. I'm like, I don't care about you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I just don't.
I just don't. Cool character. Anyone that loves him, I support you in that.
Totally.
I have no hype about him whatsoever. And it's
Same.
just, I'll take what you give me, Marvel, but like at the same time, can we do something else, please?
Yeah. I'd rather have more She-Hulk, honestly.
It
than
is
regular
a
Hulk.
hot take, but I agree, because I love Jen. I love the
Oh my
actor.
God. Yeah. Tatiana something. Yeah. No,
I could not
I'm
tell you
excited
her
for the
name.
movie. I'm excited for the movie. It's just, it makes me nervous for how long it's been in production and thought out, and all the things that have occurred since the beginning of it. Makes me nervous.
Yeah, and there's just so much going on in it, and I'm just so nervous about it. So,
Well, let's move on to the next one. I think
Let's
that
move-
should be better.
I think so too. March 4th, Daredevil Born Again. Speaking of She-Hulk, I would really, really, really love a cameo, not from She-Hulk, but from Jen.
Yeah. No, I think that would be good, especially since we saw Charlie Cox cameo in She-Hulk. And we're also getting a cameo, maybe. Well, not maybe. We will be getting a cameo of Kamala's dad, which I'm very intrigued by. I'm like, how did he and Daredevil cross paths. This is interesting.
Why? Okay. So, did you ever hear about the stuff going on with that actor?
Kamala's dad?
Yeah.
No.
I don't want to say what it was, but it does have to do with like some law breaking issues with a minor. I don't know where it landed. I don't know, but I know he was accused. Just so I haven't looked into it for obvious reasons because I don't want to know. But
sure,
it's like Marvel is so quick to distance themselves from things like that. Why is his character that important that he's in Daredevil?
Right.
So that's what kind of just been sitting heavy on my head. Like, I
haven't even heard that.
Yeah, it all came out. It was a big thing when the Marvels was coming and we got the trailer and we saw the dad and everyone's like, hang on. And it's like, if you're accused and you're not charged. But at the same time, it's like, it involves a kid. I can't remain biased on that. So
yeah, that's not great. That's not great stuff to hang on to. But I didn't even, like I said, I didn't even hear that at all. I missed all of that, even when the Marvels was coming out. So I didn't know that. But yeah, it's interesting that he's involved. Like when I saw him in that like new sizzle reel, I was like, whoa, that's Kamala's dad.
So random.
What's he doing? But like I'm currently watching Daredevil for the first time. Yeah, I haven't ever watched it before.
What?
So I'm on season 2. I'm like half-ish way through. I'll tell you what, Marvel does a great job making you feel for villains. Like, I'm like, I don't care, Punisher. Do whatever you need to do. Kill all the people. I don't care. You're doing it. Just, you're basically Daredevil. You're just not killing, you're killing people.
You're just a spicy version. Like,
yeah, that's all.
I was going for Punisher too. I liked his show a lot. It was a very grounded show. Yeah, during Daredevil, I was like, you know, you do that, baby. You deserve this. And like
That's
all
right.
the while, everyone's like, but Daredevil. It's like, Punisher is a point though.
Yeah, right. And I think that's like, at least so far of what I've watched, that's why Matt kind of feels for him, because he's like, oh, he's like me, but you know, I feel like I can change him a little by not killing people.
They're so cute together.
But yeah, I'm excited for that. It looks, just so far of what I've watched, it's been a really good show. Again, and regardless that it's Marvel or not, I've really enjoyed watching Daredevil. Especially the first season was done really well. Obviously, the second season's a little bit different, and most people say that it's kind of the lesser of the 3 seasons, but still good. But yeah, I'm excited to see. I obviously haven't gotten to season 3, so I don't know where things have left off. But I'm intrigued to know what happens next.
You're gonna love season 3. I'm really excited for you.
Thank you.
So, May 2nd, Thunderbolts, asterisk. We don't know a lot, but I feel like what we do know doesn't help us at all. So, I'm excited. I love the characters. I think Red Guardian's gonna die, or Ghost. One of those. I think they're donezo.
This is I want to say, well, if I'm not forgetting something, it's definitely one of my dark horse projects for Marvel next week. Not next week, next year. What am I saying? Next year. I think having this like B, C, D list of heroes come together is going to be a really good movie. And just the little bit that we've seen so far, like the sneak peeks and everything, the characters just seem to jive so well. And like Yelena, anything with Yelena, I mean, she's got the quips and they're real quick, and I love it. And her sass is amazing, and I can't wait to like her and Bucky kind of get together or talk or whatever it is. But yeah, we don't know much about it. Obviously, Sentry's involved, and we still don't even know what's happening really with the whole thing.
His name is Bob, so like, I don't know why that part has just stuck with me. Just like Yelena, Red Guardian, Ghost, and Bob, and it's like,
yep.
I think I'm gonna love this movie because it's already just so funny. But
It
that's
is.
fine.
It's going to be. I think it's going to be really good, in my opinion. And I'm also really intrigued with like what Valentina is doing, because like what else is, we haven't seen her. Well, we saw her in Wakanda Forever for a short bit, and then we really got to see her just more towards the end of, again, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and that's really been it. But we still don't really know her true intentions besides getting other people to join her for whatever her intentions are.
She's Marvel's Amanda Waller, and I feel like we're supposed to be so intimidated by her. I'm just not. I can't not see Elaine dancing. I can't do it.
I don't mind Julia Louis-Dreyfus as her, but yeah.
It's a choice. I mean, I like her as an actress, but it's like, if you're not goofy in the slightest bit, I'm not taking you seriously because I've seen you only be goofy before.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. So next, what I think is a pretty big dark horse for a lot of people is June 24th, Ironheart. I'm actually quite excited for it.
I'm excited for this too. Again, we don't obviously know much about it. I liked her character in Wakanda Forever. I don't know much beyond that besides the little bit that I've read from her in comics, which hasn't been much. And I like the actress Dominique. I forget her last name.
Dominique Thorne.
Like, she crushes it. I'm excited for it. But yeah, I also think it's like a dark horse project for next year. I think a lot of people already like. Again, I love underdogs, and I love things that people hate for the most part. So like when people are like, Sam Wilson isn't Captain America, I'm like, I'm gonna love Sam Wilson even more now. Same thing with Ironheart.
I'm the same way. It's like positive pettiness, you know? Someone's got to do it. I love Dominique Thorne. I'm really excited for her to have a show. I'm really into the idea that it's magic versus technology in the show. We're also supposed to get Mephisto, who's played by Sacha Baron Cohen, which I don't like, but it's like, you can't win them all. So
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm excited for it. It should be good.
Yeah. Our next one is July 25th. It's going to be a big year for Marvel. Fantastic
crazy.
Four. Well, the Fantastic Four First Steps.
I feel like I don't want... This movie just has like way too much hype. And I think everyone wants to love it. But everyone's expectations keep getting like building and building and building. And I'm just trying to like temper them.
Yeah.
I'd kind of just like try to go with that mindset into everything. That way, if it's not great, I'm like, oh, okay. But like, I feel like this just keeps getting... Everyone has high hopes and expectations around it.
I agree. I think those expectations are well placed because Kevin Feige's favorite thing in Marvel is Marvel's first family, the Fantastic Four. So I think he's going to be super involved. He's going to try to make it as good as he can because he wants it done right too. And he knows what's at stake. Sorry, that's my daughter. She's great. I think he's going to want it to be as good as it can possibly be. But I also think they need to stop talking about it, just work on it, and finish it.
Yeah. No, I'm excited for it. I'm a big Doom fan, so he's obviously totally interconnected with Fantastic Four. So I've been trying to read more of their stuff, and honestly, to me, they're the most dysfunctional family, based on the comics, especially early comics you'll ever read for the most part. But it is what it is.
They are really dysfunctional. I feel like that doesn't get talked about enough, but
They got some weird, but I mean, it's part of it was the time that it was written. I'm not trying to make excuses for what was written whatsoever, but the stuff that they write, it's a little whack. I mean, again, it's comics, but like some of it, you're just like, what is happening right now? Like the whole Sue and Reed relationship, the throuple with Sue, Reed, and Namor. I'm just like, what? What is happening?
And Namor was such a predator. Like, it's all so weird. It's so weird. But I kind of want to see that in live action. Like, I kind of want to.
You kind of have to. I feel like you have to. You have to.
He simped for Sue so hard. I want to see it.
He's like, him and Sue are like work husband and work wife together is like how I almost look at it as like, but like Namor is so I just read, I'm making a video about this, but I'm making hopefully it'll be done for Thanksgiving. There was like a Vision and Scarlet Witch issue Thanksgiving. So obviously that's coming up. And, Namor was at the Thanksgiving dinner. He was invited, and as he's leaving, he's like, you know, Wanda, I've always had there's like a whole panel. He's like, you know, Wanda, I've always had a whole thing for you, and you look so great, you know, now that you're like expecting. I'm like, dude, come on, man. You're like literally hitting on her, a married lady who's pregnant with twins, and you're hitting on her in her house. Like, I just can't.
I respect people who shoot their shot, but Namor has always needed to calm down. He is always like, sometimes I'm just like, you know what, good for you, dude. No one has the balls like you. Good for you. But then other times I'm like, someone call the police.
I'm just like, Namor, just stick with Sue, man. She's got a secret picture of you hidden in her house somewhere from Reed. So like, just stick with her. You're good.
Yeah. Best of luck with that, Namor. So moving on, August 6th, something we know nothing about. Eyes of Wakanda.
I love anything Black Panther because that was like the movie that got me into the MCU. Yeah. So anything about that is always intriguing to me. But yeah, we know nothing about it whatsoever. Supposedly they're supposed to have like different teams going to find artifacts. I believe like Wakandan artifacts scattered across the globe, maybe the universe. I don't know. That's all I know.
I didn't even hear that. I just like, I'm excited. Like you, anything Black Panther, I'm down. Just give it to me. I'm good. It's all of these things are probably going to get pushed anyway, so I'm not keeping my hopes up about when it comes out. But what I think will come out on time, October, Marvel Zombies, a good Halloween project for us.
Nice. That'll be good. I'm not a very big zombie person. I don't know. It's just not my thing. I think there's like a beauty and a curse to zombies of like, there's not many rules to them. I've always got like, you've got really slow zombies. Then you've got the ones from like 28 Days Later who are sprinters. Yeah. And you're just like, whoa, let's hope we get the slow ones. That's all we need.
I swear we're variants because I am not a zombie person either. I'm just like, if they weren't releasing this during the Halloween time, I would just be like, okay, maybe like I'll go back to it at some point. Yeah, but since we're releasing it in the spooky season, I'm like, I feel like I have to watch it, and I hope it's good.
That's not a bad take. I don't know. It's just another, to me, it's like a what if, and it's just like another thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and apparently I've read a little bit of the zombies Marvel comics, and I was just like, I'm good. I'm good on it. I'm good. And they get really, really gory, so maybe this one will too. I don't know, but Elizabeth Olsen's coming back to voice Wanda, so
that's right.
There's that. Blade will be in it as Moon Knight, so it's a what if scenario, and I don't care what anyone says. All right, so our last on our list, something that I feel like is another dark horse, but I feel like we all just gotta let it breathe and then have an opinion on it. Wonder Man in December of next year.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know much about Wonder Man in general. And I'm excited to see the little that we have seen so far. I mean, we've got Trevor from Shang-Chi in it. And I mean, he's hilarious. So I'm assuming he's going to continue his role as being hilarious. And yeah, that's all we know. However, I will be interested to know if this somehow connects to Vision Quest in some sort of way, because I do know that Simon Williams, right? That's Wonder Man's name, is connected to Vision in some weird convoluted way, of course.
Well, they see each other as brothers, and he dated Scarlet Witch, and like he's so interconnected with them. I was just like, there's no way they're going to address that, because they would have to put in a lot of lore or take a lot out and start over from scratch. So I think it's best for now they do not address that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree, because if it's it's the little that I know, it's very convoluted, so trying to explain that to regular folk is just going to make it even worse.
Yeah.
But I'm intrigued by it. I think again, it's just one of those things we don't know much about, and I'm just like, it's like a year away. I'll just wait, see what else happens.
True. I'm just glad they're still going with it, because there was a while there I was like, that's going to get silently, indefinitely delayed. Blade.
Yep.
But
yeah,
whatever.
Blade.
Yeah, sucks to be Blade. So, before we wrap up, where can our listeners find you?
I am on Instagram, Threads, and YouTube, all as Muscles and the Multiverse, spelled exactly how it's supposed to be. Blue Sky doesn't allow that many characters for a username, so I don't even know. I think I'm Muscles Multiverse on Blue Sky. Yeah. I spend most of my time on Threads, and then obviously YouTube is really the big thing. But there's not much open communication besides like community posts and comments on YouTube, compared to Threads per se. So, but yeah, that's where most people can find me.
Yeah, if you're watching this video, check the show notes right under this video, and you will see the links to his accounts. If you're listening to this in a podcast form, do the exact same thing. I feel like I didn't even need to say that, because you guys are really smart listeners. So thank you for coming on. I feel like it's so overdue. I'm so excited you're here. I'd love to have you back whenever you'd like.
Yeah, I would love to be back. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
And yeah, I will do all the things to continue to be positive within the Marvel fandom, because the toxicity is real and it's terrible.
It is. And I feel like you don't have to try too hard. You're just kind of one of those people that just, it's infectious.
No, I mean, I'm not trying. It's just how it is. I like what you said earlier, the petty positivity. I'm all about the petty positivity.
I feel like if you feel the need to be toxic, at least do it in a positive way. So just pettiness I'm all about. Go ahead and be petty, but don't be toxic about the pettiness. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Yeah. But that does it for another episode of Vigilante Vibes, the only Marvel non-toxic podcast. Hope you all enjoyed it. Be sure to follow me on all social media sites. Just search for Vigilante Vibes Podcast and you'll find me. You can also check me out on nerdinitiative.com, where we review the latest comics, movies, and TV shows. And sometimes we get to interview the creators of those comics, movies, and TV shows. Wherever you're listening to me now, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Thanks for listening. And as usual, thank you for all your support. Have a marvelous day.